Hello, and welcome back to our daily English talk.
Hi, everyone. We're so happy you're here today.
If you're new here, please click that subscribe button and like this video.
I'm Emma.
And I'm Roy. Didn't you know this is a place to practice listening and speaking with simple, real English?
Please help us by liking this video and subscribing. It means a lot to us.
Today feels like a good day to talk about something very common in daily life. I am sitting here calmly and thinking about work and jobs. Many people spend a lot of time at work or thinking about work. That makes this topic very useful for English practice.
I agree, and I feel comfortable talking about this topic. When people meet each other, they often talk about their job. It is a normal and friendly question. Learning how to talk about your job in English can help you feel more confident.
Yes, talking about your job does not need difficult words or long explanations. You do not need to sound professional or perfect. You only need simple sentences to share what you do. That is real daily English.
I want listeners to feel relaxed about this topic. Your job is part of your life, and you already know it very well. Now you are just learning how to talk about it in English. That is a gentle step.
When I think about my job, I think about my daily routine. I think about what I do during the day and how I feel about it. These thoughts are simple and clear. They are easy to talk about.
When I talk about my job, I like to start with simple ideas. I talk about where I work and what I usually do. I do not try to explain everything. I choose one or two things.
Curious. Emma, when someone asks you about your job, how do you usually feel? Do you feel comfortable or do you feel a little shy? Many learners feel shy talking about work in English.
I sometimes feel a little shy, especially if I am tired, but when I speak slowly and simply, I feel better. I remind myself that the other person just wants to understand me.
That is very important to remember. Most people are not judging your English. They are just listening. When we remember that, our voice feels calmer. Speaking becomes easier.
Yes, and talking about your job can help start a conversation. It helps people know you better. Even simple English can create connection. That is very powerful.
Right now, I imagine listeners thinking about their own job. Maybe you work in an office, a shop, a school, or at home. Every job is okay to talk about. There is no better or worse job.
I hope listeners feel that clearly. You do not need a special or exciting job to speak English. Your work is part of your life, and that is enough. English is for everyone.
Some learners worry because they don't know job words in English, but you can start with very simple words. You can say what you do, not the title. That is often easier.
Yes, you can talk about actions instead of names. You can say, I help people, or I work with computers. These sentences are simple and very clear. People can understand you.
When I talk about my job, I notice how my body feels. If I rush, I feel tense. If I slow down, I feel more relaxed. Slow speaking helps my thoughts come out clearly.
I feel the same way. Speaking slowly gives me time to think. It helps me choose simple words. Simple words make me feel more confident.
Curious, do you think beginners feel pressure to explain their job very well? I think many learners want to say everything perfectly. That pressure can make speaking harder.
Yes, I think that pressure is very common, but you do not need to explain everything. You can say a little and stop. That is normal in real conversations.
That is a very important point. Real conversations are short and simple. You do not need a long speech. 1 or 2 sentences are enough to start.
I hope listeners feel relief hearing that. You can keep your answer short. You can pause. You can smile. All of that is natural communication.
Talking about your job can also help you talk about your day. Work is part of daily life. When you talk about work, you are also talking about time and routine.
Yes, and this helps beginners practice common English words. Words like work, day, busy, or tired are very useful. You can use them often.
I want listeners to remember that mistakes are okay. When you talk about your job, the goal is understanding, not perfection. If the other person understands you, you are doing well.
Please be kind to yourself as you practice. You are learning something new. Every small try helps your confidence grow. Speaking about work will feel easier with time.
As we begin this topic together, I want listeners to feel safe and supported. This is a friendly space. You can listen, think, and imagine speaking.
Yes, please stay relaxed and comfortable. You do not need to speak out loud now. Just listening and thinking is already practice.
I am very happy to talk about this topic with you today. Talking about your job is a useful and practical English skill.
Thank you so much for being here with us today. We will continue slowly in the next part and talk more about daily work life in simple English.
As we continue, I want to stay close to how work feels during a normal day. When I think about my job, I think about small actions I do again and again. I may sit at a desk, talk to people, or focus on a task. These actions are simple, but they describe work very well.
I like that way of looking at work because it feels very real. When I talk about my job, I also think about small daily actions. I do not think about big goals or plans. I think about what I usually do from morning to afternoon.
Yes, using the word usually is very helpful when talking about work. Work often repeats every day. Talking about routine makes English easier. You can say what you usually do without explaining everything.
When I explain my job, I like to keep it simple and slow. I talk about one thing at a time. I do not rush my words. This helps me feel calm and confident while speaking.
Emma, when someone asks you about your job, what is the first thing you say? Do you talk about where you work or what you do? I think learners often wonder where to start.
I usually start with what I do. I feel that actions are easier than job titles. I might say, I help people, or I work with information. That feels simple and clear.
That is a very good idea for beginners. Job titles can be difficult or confusing. Actions are easier to explain. People understand actions very quickly.
Yes, and actions feel more personal. When I say what I do, the other person can imagine my day. That makes the conversation warmer and more natural.
Some learners worry because they think their job sounds boring in English. But boring is not bad. Boring often means clear and simple. Clear English is very good English.
I want listeners to remember that. You do not need an exciting job story. You just need to describe your real work life. Real life English is always useful.
During the workday, I often feel different emotions. Sometimes I feel busy and sometimes I feel calm. These feelings are also part of talking about your job. You can talk about how work makes you feel.
Yes, feelings are important. I may say, I feel tired after work, or I feel good when I finish a task. These are very common sentences. They are easy and natural.
Talking about feelings helps people understand you better. It also helps you connect. Work is not only about tasks, it is also about how we feel during the day.
I agree. And talking about feelings makes English more human. You are not just giving information, you are sharing your experience. That makes speaking more meaningful.
Do you think learners feel more confident when they talk about work they know well? I feel like knowing the topic helps the voice feel stronger.
Yes, definitely. When the topic is familiar, I feel less afraid. I already know the ideas, I just need simple English words. That feels possible.
That is why talking about your job is such good practice. You know your job very well. You do not need to invent ideas. You just describe your real life.
I hope listeners feel encouraged by that. You already have the content. English is just the language to share it. You are not starting from zero.
When I imagine listeners now, I imagine them at work or thinking about work. Maybe you are remembering your last workday. That memory is already English practice.
I want listeners to feel no pressure to speak perfectly. You can speak slowly and pause. Pausing is normal. Pausing gives you time to think.
Many beginners feel nervous about pauses, but pauses are part of real speech. Native speakers pause all the time. Silence does not mean failure.
Yes, silence is just thinking time. You can smile and continue. Communication is not only words, body language and tone also matter.
Sometimes people ask more questions about your job. They may ask if you like it or if you are busy. You do not need long answers. Short answers are okay.
I like giving short answers too. I might say, yes, I like it, or it is busy today. These answers are simple and very useful. They keep the conversation moving.
Keeping things simple helps beginners feel successful. When you feel successful, you want to speak more. That's how confidence grows.
Confidence grows from small wins. One clear sentence is a win. One calm answer is a win. You can collect these wins every day.
I want listeners to remember that talking about your job is not a performance. It is a conversation. Conversations are friendly and flexible.
Yes, and conversations allow mistakes. If you make a mistake, you can correct it or continue. The conversation does not stop.
As we continue, we will talk more about work schedules and daily routines. We will keep everything simple and slow. There is no rush.
Thank you for staying with us and listening so calmly. Please stay relaxed and comfortable. We will continue together in the next part and talk more about daily work life in English.
As we move into this part, I want to talk about how work fits into our feelings and our energy. Work is not only something we do, it is something we feel in our body and mind. Some days feel easy and some days feel heavy.
I feel that very clearly, and I think many listeners do too. When I think about my job, I think about how it affects my mood. Some days I feel focused and calm. Other days I feel tired and slow.
Talking about these feelings is very natural in real conversations. People often ask how work is going. You can answer with simple feeling words. You do not need long explanations.
Yes, you can say things like, I feel busy today, or I feel tired after work. These sentences are very common. They help people understand you quickly. They are very useful for beginners.
When I talk about my job, I also think about time. I think about when I start work and when I finish. Time words help organize our story. They make speaking easier.
Time words are very helpful for me too. I like to say, I work in the morning or I finish in the evening. These ideas are simple, but they explain a lot. People can imagine your day.
Emma, do you feel comfortable talking about your work schedule in English? I think many learners worry about this, but schedules can be very simple to explain.
I feel more comfortable when I keep it simple. I do not talk about exact hours. I just say morning, afternoon, or evening. That feels easy and clear.
That is a very good tip for beginners. You do not need numbers if they feel difficult. You can use general time words. English still works very well.
Yes, and people usually understand. They are not asking for details. They just want a general idea. Simple English is enough for that.
Another part of talking about your job is talking about people. Many of us work with other people. We may have coworkers, customers, or a team. Talking about people makes the conversation warmer.
I agree, and I like talking about people at work. I might say, I work with nice people, or I talk to many people. These sentences are simple, but they show how my work feels.
Talking about people can also help you share your feelings about work. You can say you like your coworkers or you feel comfortable at work. These ideas are easy to say.
Yes, and if you feel shy, you can keep it short. You can say, I work alone, or I work with others. That is enough to explain your situation.
When learners talk about their work, they sometimes worry about using the wrong word. But meaning is more important than perfect words. If people understand you, you are communicating well.
I want listeners to remember that. You do not need perfect English to talk about your job. You just need to be clear and calm. Your message will come through.
I notice that when I talk calmly about my job, I feel more confident. I do not rush. I let my words come slowly. This helps my listener and helps me too.
Speaking calmly really changes everything. When I slow down, I feel less nervous. I can hear my own voice. That makes me feel more in control.
Do you think learners feel pressure to sound professional when talking about work? I think many people feel that pressure, but daily English does not need professional language.
I agree, and that pressure can make speaking harder. In daily life, people speak simply about work. Professional language is not always needed. Friendly language is enough.
That is a very important point. When you talk about your job in daily life, you are not giving a presentation, you are having a conversation. Conversations are relaxed.
Yes, and relaxed conversations allow mistakes. You can laugh softly or repeat yourself. That is normal. It makes the conversation human.
Sometimes people ask if you like your job. This can feel like a difficult question, but you can answer simply. You can say yes, a little, or it's okay.
I like that idea of simple answers. You do not need to explain everything. You can say, I like it, or it's fine. These answers are honest and easy.
Honest answers help you feel comfortable. You do not need to pretend. Speaking honestly reduces stress. It makes English feel lighter.
Yes, when I am honest, I feel more relaxed. I do not need to think too much. My words come more naturally. That is good for beginners.
I want listeners to notice how much English they already have for this topic. Words like work, day, busy, tired, and people are very common. You already know many of them.
That is very encouraging. You are not starting from zero. You already have the building blocks. You are just learning how to put them together slowly.
As we get closer to the end of this part, I want listeners to feel confident. Talking about your job is something you can practice every day. Your work gives you many chances to speak.
Please remember that every small conversation is practice. Even one sentence about your job is helpful. You are learning step by step.
In the final part, we will talk about ending work conversations and feeling good about your English. We will keep everything calm and supportive.
Thank you for staying with us and listening so patiently. Please stay relaxed and comfortable.
We will continue together in the next and final part.
Now, as we come to the final part of this conversation, I want to slow everything down again. Talking about your job does not need to feel heavy or stressful. It can feel calm and simple, just like the end of a workday. This is a good moment to reflect softly.
I feel that calm ending too, and it feels very comforting. After work, I often feel ready to rest and let go of the day. Talking about work at this time feels different. It feels lighter and more relaxed.
When the workday ends, I like to think that I did enough. Even if the day was busy or quiet, it still mattered. Every workday is part of our life. Talking about it helps us accept it.
I really like that idea of enough. Some days at work are good and some days are difficult, but finishing the day is already something to feel okay about. You can say that in simple English.
Many beginners worry that they cannot explain their job well in English, but you do not need to explain everything. If you can say one or two simple things, that is already success.
Yes, success in speaking is not about long answers. It is about being understood. When someone understands what you do and how you feel, your English is working.
Talking about your job can also help you feel more confident over time. The more you talk about it, the easier it becomes. Familiar topics reduce fear. Work is one of the most familiar topics.
Yes, repetition helps a lot. When you talk about your job again and again, the words feel natural. You do not need to search for them. They come more easily.
I want learners to remember that confidence grows quietly. You may not notice it every day, but one day you will realize that speaking about your work feels normal. That moment is very special.
I agree, and those moments come from patience. You keep speaking a little, even when you feel shy. Over time, your voice feels stronger. You trust yourself more.
Trusting yourself is very important in speaking English. When you trust yourself, you stop worrying so much. You focus on communication, not mistakes.
I hope listeners can feel that trust starting to grow. Even listening to this conversation is part of building trust. Your ears and mind are learning together.
When I imagine listeners now, I imagine them after a workday or thinking about their job. Maybe you feel tired, or maybe you feel calm. Whatever you feel is okay.
I want listeners to feel accepted. Your job, your feelings, and your English level are all welcome here. You do not need to be perfect to belong.
Talking about your job in English is not about sounding smart. It's about sharing your life. Your life is already valuable. English is just a tool to share it.
Yes, your story matters, even in simple words. When you speak about your work, you are telling part of your story. That is meaningful.
As we finish this topic, I feel very calm and thankful. We talked about daily work life in a simple way. This kind of English is something you can use every day.
I feel thankful too, and I hope listeners feel supported. You are not alone in learning English. Many people feel the same way you do.
Thank you so much for spending this time with us today. Please remember that talking about your job can be simple and gentle. You are already capable of doing it.
Yes, thank you for listening and being here with us. Please take care of yourself and rest when you need to. We look forward to sharing more calm and helpful English conversations with you again very soon.